Right. Okay, this is an instruction video for the Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds tripod. First thing is you must have destructible blocks switched off. So no checking that. The reason being is I've got a simulated ball joint in the ankle. It's made with all pistons. I'll show you in a minute. And it's very weak, so when you've got destructible blocks on, it just explodes. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about that because of obviously it's just the way the blocks work. So apologies for that. So destruction off. The mods I'm using on this build are them ones: 1000 gyro scopes, super hinges and rotors, and plain parts Xbox. Okay, them 3 mods you'll need. You'll get them on the blueprint anyway. Okay, now let's okay that. We'll go in and have a look at it. I'll give you a quick overview of what's on there. When it starts. Hehe. Come on. And bingo. Okay, so I've shaped it as well as I could. All the shaping and that's vanilla except them 2 blocks and that block. That's the plain parts. I've used them. I've seen round windows are coming out, so I may replace them at some stage, but see, these blocks have got no collision, which is why I use them a lot, because that gun there, it just goes up and down, but it looks like it's on a ball, so that's why I use it. Okay, you've got these turrets here. You target enemies. That one only goes up and down. It doesn't swivel side to side. So you're probably facing directly in front for that one to kick off. But these ones will target enemies to the side, underneath, to the rear. Spotlights which will highlight enemies when I spot them. There's a smoke generator there that if this gets targeted, it should kick out green smoke. It's supposed to be black for the War of the Worlds, but unfortunately we haven't got one. So it's green. This camera is for a direction gizmo I've got set up in the cockpit, but I'll go through that in a moment. Now, these are the ball joint hinges. So obviously I've got 4-way direction for the angle. It's the most compact I can make it, unfortunately. As you can see, it's not very stable, but it does the job when the destruction's off. It'll move the angle forward, back, left, right, with it being able to center itself. So if I'd put like 2 hinges in, one facing that way, one facing that way, one, it would have been clang and it would have been vibrating a lot more than this, which is how I did my own helicopter. If you remember on, if you've seen it for the Dune, I used 2 hinges connected to each other, and that causes a vibration which causes for the wings. So that's the best I could do with that, but it doesn't stand up under the weight if you put destruction on. So that's the reasoning for that. Okay. I've got 2 extenders on the legs. This is to help with the walking. I mean, the shoulders go up, which is good, but I just wanted that little bit extra extension. Plus, this one extends the leg, so when it's forward, it extends it forward, so it touches the ground. So when that's forward, that's back, and that's middle, all the legs are the same length. Whereas if it didn't have the extender on, it would have a slight tilt. So I'm trying to keep everything level for the walking. So that's the reasoning for that. These support struts control the elbows, the knees, the knee hinges on there. I haven't put the one in the back because it doesn't have enough power to push the mech forward. So that's relying on the joint itself. All the shaping's in, so everything moves within the shaping. Now I've got 2 hinges for the shoulder, so one hinge will push it forward, then it'll come back to 0 degrees, and then the other hinge will push it back and it'll come back to 0 degrees. It's the only way I can think about working around not using angles on the timers, because you can't specify your own angle. You've got to go by what the game gives you, which isn't ideal on a lot of builds. So it's 2 hinges on that, and that is why you've got the vibration there, because all the weight is on them joints. You'll see them when I get inside. As you can see, I've got my hatches set. They're controlled by sensors. That's the sensors there. So when you get within a certain distance, they'll open, and then you can just drop into the side there, and then the ship goes up for you. And to reopen them, you need to get close to the back of the sensor. Okay, turrets are kicking off there. These are my balance sensors. One there, one there, one there, and one at the front. This is a balance mechanism for forward and back, so it stays balanced on the forward and back axis. The side and side to side axis is dealt with timers. As you can see, all these are timers in here. That's me 2 hinges working the shoulder. That's the back for the turning cycle. I've took as much shake out as I can. Right, this is a direction sensor. It's a turret. The camera's on the front, which is on the elevation hinge. This is on the rotate, the azimuth, and this activates M sensor. So when it switches on, and if there's an enemy over there, when that switches on, and if that's touching the sensor range, it'll turn that way. The whole mech will turn that way to face that direction. I'll show you it hopefully when I get on here. That's your controls. The one over that side doesn't work. It's just there for balance. There's nothing attached to it. All your controls are done on this left hand side. So you've got walk start, which is left on the D-pad. You've got walk stop, which is up. Now once it stops and it's settled, then you hit leg reset. That'll put the legs back into straight position, what they are now, a standing position. That turns your turrets on and off if you don't want it firing constantly. That That'll turn them on and off. Okay, so let's get into here. I've got 2 pages. That's your first page. Now your second page you can't see on the instructions, but this is the second page. Left will turn you left, right will turn you right from a standing position. So remember, stop walking. Once it's settled, reset your legs. Once it's settled, then you can turn. Okay, now from a standing position, if you don't want to turn manually, if you want to use the direction, you press up. Now let's get outside and see if it's got an eye on anything. So if you press up, whichever way the direction sensor's facing, that's the turn the mech makes. Okay. Now pressing down will switch the sensors off. And also the sensors will switch off automatically once the turn's been done. So if you need to turn multiple times, what you do is, now that should be, it's still turned. Now I'm not sure if this is working. It might be aiming at them. So let's turn it on again and see what happens. Nah, it's just out of turning range. So that's canny. So it's straightened itself up. So whichever way that's facing, that's the way it turns. So hopefully if I do this, sensors are off. Okay. And then if I go outside, now if I hit right, it should do a right turn. There we go. As you can see, it's pretty quick. So it's done a right turn. That's still facing over there, so bear with us. We'll do 2 left turns and see what happens. Right, settled. Next one. Now I'm going to do one more, just to see. Actually, no. Yeah, it's working. So that's moved into the center now. So that shouldn't turn it. So remember, once you're settled, you're in a standing position, which is like that. All the legs straight, nothing moving. On page 2, if you press up, it turns your direction sensors on. So if it is targeted to an enemy, it'll turn towards the enemy. If it's not, it won't move. Pressing down turns them off. To manually turn, make sure you're in the standing position, make sure them sensors are off, and then hit left or right, depending on which way you want to turn. Okay, to start walking, which is left on page 1. Now the walking's not super quick, but remember, this is a tripod. It took some doing just to get it to move. I've had to slow the joints down a bit. But as you can see, it walks in 3 sections. So what you've got is the leg will move back halfway, you'll have a leg come forward. Then as they move back fully and the other one moves back halfway, the rear leg comes into play. So you've got like two movements on each leg to get it to push forward. See, the back leg goes forward back twice. And it's all balanced. There's nothing you need to do to balance it. There's no like moving the sticks or anything like that. Everything's done automatically for you. You don't have to worry about balance. I've programmed it all in with the timers. And that's your walk. And then stop, you just press up. And then wait till it finishes, because it doesn't stop straight away. Basically what it does, it finishes a cycle, then stops on that. Then once it's stopped dead there. No more movement. You press down, that resets your legs. And then it's ready to turn. So what you do there, you either go into page 2 and turn your directions on, or you would turn it manually. There you have it. So I hope that's okay for you. Keep smiling now. Ta-ra.